Hi, I'm international publicist Michelle Tennant Nicholson. I am also writing a blog at Psychology Today called Mental Injury is Not Mental Illness. Over the weekend, I was already creating a blog entry for you related to my business card. And then Will Smith hit Chris Rock last night at the awards ceremony because Will Smith's wife has alopecia, and Chris Rock made a joke about her hair. She had it clean cut and made some type of G.I. Jane 2 reference to the hair. And it actually fits in what I wanted to say about my own experience, and also about fight, flight, and freeze and flow. So first of all, let me share with you, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what happens when you have a PTSD brain, and what happens when you hear things or you perceive a threat. But before that, I want to show you this picture that lately has been coming up in my life. So this is a picture that's pretty recent. It was a few Easters ago. And it's a picture that I have on my Zoom account. And then I also have it on my business card. And I did my hair and makeup in the style that we did here. But you can see in my exercise videos that I sometimes look different. And Friday, I was at a business meeting, and a man got my card, and I had already introduced myself, apologizing that I had just come from teaching a spin class in Fletcher, which was about 20 minutes away, and I didn't have time to go home and put on business attire. Nevertheless, while someone else was talking, he went like this. He was like, this doesn't look like you. What's the deal with this photo, right? And I also got another comment a couple of weeks ago in a personal development Zoom room, where somebody saw because this is also what's on my profile pic on Zoom. And they said, oh, that Michelle's not on video. She's just got a really old photo up when, many, many years ago, when she was really young. And I just, been really contemplating what happens in the dynamic between men and women, like the social, and I've been talking to my husband about it, and he was curious to me. He's like, why didn't you actually say something in the moment? And I said, I just don't confront. I said, I freeze and I let it go, or I don't say anything, or I say, oh, I'm going to do my hair a different, I create a victim stance. Where my husband says, you should just say, hey, man, that's rude. And in last night's instance, you can see a fight response. And Will Smith is public about the domestic violent home that he grew up in, where he was not able to defend his mother from his father. And so here, as an adult, he had an opportunity to defend his wife, and he took it. Now, of course, everybody's going to agree that violence is never the answer. However, when you look at a mentally injured brain, that those of us who've actually experienced mental injury, PTSD brain, then we're hyper vigilant, hyper sensitive to even words that are said that are threatening. So you even find me today, I'm in action, like, hey, look, I actually do look like my photo, even though I too have alopecia and I'm aging and I don't look, all the same, even though I'm working overtime to prove that I look like this photo. And then, so the question is really, what are the appropriate responses when somebody says a disparaging comment to you, especially if it triggers a PTSD reaction, it triggers that PTSD memory, and then how do you respond? And as you work through your PTSD, I put the neighborhood pedophile in jail when I was 18, so I have complex PTSD. The thing to always hone over time is that ability to connect the feeling to what the stimulus is coming into you, and then responding appropriately, like saying, hey, that's completely rude. If we look at last night, and I'm going to write a longer blog entry today at Psychology Today, so you can read my thoughts later, but really, how do you then discern without that delay, without that freeze or that completely that fight response, to get a more healthy response in time. And so that it's, because the other issue is that PTSD people, sometimes it's delayed like days, months, years. So we really want to close that gap so that we're actually responding in time in an appropriate social manner. So that's really the purpose. I'd love to hear from you. It was a lively discussion in my spin class this morning. And I'm also using this video to prove that I still look like this photo. See, still got to prove things, right? So the question really is why? Why does the PTS brain have to do that? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Bye-bye.